Hi Pisces, I'm Ronique and welcome to Scorpio Soul Time. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to your October 2024 monthly tarot reading. This is where we're going to look at the astrological energies of the month of October. Now we had a huge, actually couple of months. August and September were big months, Pisces, and we are now into eclipse season as we were in September. We did have your full moon eclipse, so I'm sure there were some things that came up for you around that. We also still have Saturn and Neptune in your signs, but we now have Uranus retrograde, and we now will have Jupiter retrograde in October. So really big time. So let's get right into it. You start off with the Magician card, always a good way to start off the month, Pisces. And you have the Eight of Swords in the reverse. Second week of October finds you with the Judgment card. Two major arcanas on the floor here, as well as a Three of Wands. So strategizing towards your future. Third week finds you with the Page of Wands in the reverse, as well as the High Priestess, third major arcana for you all. So you literally have a major arcana every week this month so far. Eight of Cups finds you the last week of October, and Capricorn Devil card here, definitely probably focusing towards that Pluto energy that is in Capricorn until November 19th. So Pisces, let's go ahead and pull a card representing the energy that you bring into the month of October. Spirit, if you could send my Pisceans a card representing the energy they moved out of September with. And you have the Two of Swords. So Pisces, for any of you all who had an important decision to possibly make during the month of September, or if there were some type of topics that came up that you weren't quite sure which way to turn, options you needed to decide, this is the energy that you bring into this month. Really paying attention to whether or not those decisions were still important to you in October, I think is going to be a huge thing for you, because I do see that Magician and Eight of Swords. So it does feel like you're no longer worried about a decision that maybe you were contemplating back in September. So that's really nice to see. And as you come into the month, it does look like some type of clarity comes in for you with that Judgment card and with that Magician. So let's pull one final card. Spirit, if you can send my Pisceans a card that is an oracle message for the month of October. And you have temptation number 15. So temptation can be a number of things. It could be you focusing on things that you do not need to focus on. This could be a bad habit that Spirit is saying you need to relieve yourself of. This also could be, temptation can also be a mental constraint, I just heard. So maybe it more is towards whether or not you are tempted to worry about things that you have no control over, the temptation to poke your nose into places you don't need to be. This feels like more of a mental, like you're trying to get over worriment, trying to get over always trying to analyze everything. And I do think that as you come into this month, this is going to be a huge month for you Pisces to get clear on that. And I do think since you all had your Pisces eclipse last month, I do think that that brought up some themes as well. So let's look over your month as a whole. So as I said, you start off the month really strong with that Magician, Eight of Swords, getting over some type of mental anguish. And I do think that Two of Swords is no longer going to be an issue. And if you are still contemplating some things here in the month of October, I do think once you get to the second and third weeks of the month, you are now in a much better place than you were back in September, because that Judgment card is like you are coming to an end of a cycle. And then down here, we're getting like young energy with that High Priestess, beginning a new cycle here, beginning to figure out how to use your intuitive insight. And then by the time you end the month, what's interesting is that going into November, when we have a new moon in Scorpio, I do think at that time that Eight of Cups, the Devil card, you all could be contemplating whether or not to leave an emotional situation that is no longer serving you. So we will get to that as we go through the individual weeks. But we start off here, Pisces, with the Magician and the Eight of Swords. In that first week of October, we do have a solar eclipse, Libra new moon on the 2nd, as well as Mars in Cancer enters its retrograde shadow on the 5th. I do think at this time, many of us, and especially you all with this Magician, are going to have themes that centers around yourself. How is it that you are working through a lot of mental baggage that you used to have last month, even earlier into the year? And I do think that you all are strategizing for new ideas. New beginnings are starting for you here at the beginning of this month. And I do think that Libra new moon is focusing back on what you did 6 months ago, what you did 12 and 18 months ago. Remember, we are still in this Aries Libra axis, as well as you just started your axis last month. So I do think that Eight of Swords in reverse, no longer worrying, is going to be a huge advantage for you this month, Pisces. Now, as you move into mid-month, I think this is interesting here, where you have Jupiter in Gemini retrograding on October 9th, and then we will have Pluto in Capricorn retrograde ending on the 11th. I do think during this time, Pisces, you will have a final culmination coming here. You are like one card away from the World card, right? So you are almost at the end of a cycle, and you are questioning whether or not you're on the right track, and Spirit is saying yes. Three of Wands, you are now ready to move on. You are ready to grow whatever it is that you are beginning this new cycle in. And between that Magician card and the Judgment card, you all are being set up for a really nice opportunity coming up probably later on in October, if not into November. And I do think that once we get to the 13th of the month, this is when we have a little more stress. We have Mercury entering Scorpio, Mars in Cancer squares Chiron in Aries. We do have a Sun trining Jupiter that same day. So there could be some benefic events that happen there, but I do think you all are definitely on the right track. You all are feeling so much better about where you are at. And I do think that many of you all with this Page of Wands in reverse, High Priestess, by the time you get to the 3rd week of the month, this is when we have the Sun trining Jupiter and the Sun in Libra squaring Mars. And we then turn to Sun entering Scorpio on the 22nd. During this time, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to anything that is coming to you intuitively. That High Priestess does suggest that someone could come to you in a dream, or possibly in something that you were. It almost feels like it's not in the physical world. It's more like a dream, or a message comes through another person. Something here, High Priestess and Page of Wands in reverse, some new opportunity is heading your way. And I do think once the Sun enters Scorpio, and then we have the Sun in Scorpio scoring Pluto and Capricorn on the 22nd, be prepared for intensity during this time. People around you, Scorpio is that higher emotional energy, but you all being a fellow water sign, I think you all will do just fine during this time. You all are used to emotional intensity, just like Scorpio is as well. Now, when you're ending the month here, Pisces, this is when we have that Mars in Cancer trining Neptune in Pisces on the 28th, and we are looking into a Scorpio new moon November 1st, and Mercury enters Sagittarius on November 2nd. So this week is this energy of you really looking at your goals, figuring out how far you have come. Many of you are getting rid of things that are no longer serving you. That Pluto in Capricorn right now, there could be this energy around those who hold all of the purse strings, your organization that you work with. Possibly you're thinking about moving. This definitely could be like a lease is up, or you're questioning whether you need to stay somewhere with that Eight of Cups. And that Devil card is definitely bringing in that Pluto energy in this last degree of Pluto, of like, where is it that there's been some kind of governance that maybe you're just ready to get past, move out of a rental situation, or maybe even move out of a home. There's something there at the end of the month that could come up. And I do think by the time you move into November, Pisces, a lot of this will be a lot clearer, but maybe not all the way, because remember, Pluto is still in Capricorn until November 19th. So overall, really strong vibes of moving on here, Pisces. I look forward to hearing how this month goes for you. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what you're looking forward to in October, and I'll talk to you later.